is Australia's and the world's most remote capital city, 2,700 kilometres from Adelaide and over 4,000 kilometres from Sydney. In fact, it's closer to Jakarta than it is to Sydney. But Perth, the capital of Australia's largest state, Western Australia, isn't a backwater. It's modern and sophisticated and the fastest growing city in the country with a booming economy. For 40,000 years before white people settled the region, this area was the home of the Noongar people. And just recently, in 2006, an historic court decision handed native title back to the Noongar. The early history of the settlement was violent, with clashes between the Noongars and colonists. The first colonists arrived in 1829. And the first governor, James Stirling, named the city after Perth in Scotland. Perth is the centre of a lot of activity, especially farming and mining. Some very rich people live here, many in the exclusive suburb of Peppermint Grove. If you like sun, the beach and surfing, Perth is a pretty good place to head. It has miles of ocean beaches with golden sands, but it gets pretty hot in summer, so sunscreen and a hat is recommended. Fortunately, the Fremantle doctor usually visits in the afternoon. No, not an MD, it's the sea breeze, and Fremantle is Perth's historic and bohemian old port, popular with tourists. Also popular is Rottnest Island, just 19 kilometres off the coast from Perth. It's an iconic holiday destination for Perthians and site of an annual long-distance swimming event, the Rottnest Channel Swim. It's also a good place to spot the quokka, an endangered marsupial that's survived there because there are no foxes or cats. Perth itself is built around the Swan River, named by a Dutch explorer. Guess why? The river is a great place for water activities, sailing and water skiing. Perth people consider themselves to be a bit apart from the rest of the country, mainly because they are. In fact, 2/3 of Western Australians voted to become independent in 1933. But it didn't happen. There's a lot to do in Perth. When you finish the water activities, you can relax in Kings Park. Visit the historic Old Mint or check out the Bell Tower. When astronaut John Glenn flew over Perth in 1962, he called it the City of Lights. In 1983, Fremantle was the scene for the historic win by Australia 2 of the America's Cup. Perth is often known as the friendly city, and even if Perth people are a bit isolated, they certainly like visitors.